I made $50,000 today. I felt absolutely nothing. My wife asked, "Aren't you going to celebrate?" I said, "Why? Tomorrow it could be gone." She thought I was depressed. Actually, I had finally become professional. Everyone tells you to be passionate about trading. Love what you do. Be intense. Live and breathe the charts. I did that for 3 years. You know what the result was? Account blown. Twice. Because there's a brutal difference between two things. Passion equals emotion that controls you, versus commitment equals discipline that you control. And nobody tells you this. Beginning traders confuse excitement with commitment. They think the adrenaline of the trade is what separates winners from losers. It's the opposite. Adrenaline is what makes you close before the target. Adrenaline is what makes you double down on a loss. Adrenaline is what kills you. Now let me show you the difference between an amateur trader and a professional reacting to the same situation. Situation: trade going into $5,000 of floating profit. Amateur trader: heart racing. Go, go, go. Already spending the money mentally. Hand on the mouse, ready to close. Result: closes at $2,000. Out of fear. Professional trader: controlled breathing. Looks at the chart like reading a newspaper. Remembers, target is 8,000. Hands away from the keyboard. Result: closes on the plan, $8,000, or stop loss. What's the difference? The amateur is inside the emotion. The professional is observing the emotion. I'll repeat this because it's critical. Inside the emotion equals you are the anger, the fear, the greed. Observing the emotion equals you see the anger, the fear, the greed. One controls you, the other you control. And Mark Douglas, in Trading in the Zone, calls this the ability to create a mental framework that allows you to trade without fear and without recklessness. But how the hell do you create that framework? This is where the protocol comes in. There's a specific protocol I use before any trade. It takes 14 seconds. These 14 seconds separate professionals from amateurs. I call it the 3-breath protocol. And it works like this. Breath number 1. You inhale for 4 seconds. And as you inhale, you ask, is this trade in my plan? If the answer is yes, you continue. If the answer is no, you abort. No exceptions. Doesn't matter how obvious the setup looks. Doesn't matter if everyone's getting in. If it's not in the plan, it doesn't exist. Breath number 2. You hold the air for 4 seconds, and in this moment you ask, do I accept losing the stop? And here's critical. You visualize the loss, like you see mentally the money leaving the account. You feel the small pain. If the answer isn't immediate, you abort the trade. Because if you don't accept the stop before entering, you'll never accept it when it hits. And then you move the stop, or double the position, or freeze. Breath number 3. You exhale for 6 seconds. And as you exhale, you affirm, this is a probabilistic trade, not a certainty. You release the need to be right. You release the expectation that this time it's guaranteed. You accept that you can lose, and then you execute. Sounds simple, right? It is. But 90% of traders don't do this because they think they already know. Let me tell you what happened when I first implemented this. It was a Tuesday morning. I had what looked like a perfect breakout set up on ES futures. Clean consolidation, volume building, all my criteria checked. The previous version of me would have slammed the entry without thinking. But this time, I did the protocol. Breath 1. Is it in my plan? Yes, it was textbook. Breath 2. Do I accept losing the stop? This is where I paused. The stop was $250, and I actually visualized it disappearing. My ego screamed, "But you know this will work!" But I held the breath and thought, if I can't accept losing $250, I don't deserve to make $750. Breath 3. It's probabilistic. I executed. The trade worked, hit my target exactly, $740 profit. But the most important thing wasn't the profit. It was that I maintained total detachment during execution because I had already decided everything before pressing the button. Now let me tell you what happened 3 days later. Same setup, same market conditions, but I was running late, rushing, and I thought, I don't need the protocol. I know what I'm doing. I skipped breath 2, didn't visualize the loss, just entered. The trade went against me immediately, and because I hadn't accepted the stop beforehand, I froze. It'll come back, I thought. It didn't. I moved the stop, then moved it again. I turned a $250 loss into an $1,100 disaster. Same setup, different process, different result. But here's what nobody tells you about detachment. Detachment is not caring. Detachment is not coldness. Detachment is not indifference. Detachment is not whatever happens, happens. So what is it? Detachment is caring without being hostage to the outcome. Think about it like this. Imagine a Navy SEAL sniper. Does he care about hitting the target? Of course he does. Every bullet counts. Lives might literally depend on it. But if he needs to hit it to feel valid, if his identity depends on that bullet, he freezes. His hand trembles. His breathing dysregulates. He misses. His detachment isn't coldness. It's love for the process, independence from the result. He pulls the trigger with total commitment and total detachment from where the bullet goes, because he already did the work, trained 10,000 hours, calibrated the scope, controlled the breathing, aligned the posture. The rest is physics and a little bit of wind. He doesn't control the wind, but he controlled everything that was under his control. And when you understand this in your body, not just your head, you stop celebrating wins, because winning no longer validates who you are. You are the trader, win or loss. Your identity doesn't fluctuate with the account. Your identity is the process. And this is the first winning attitude. So, how do you train this? How do you move from theory to embodiment? Here's the exercise I did for 90 days. I call it the losing winner meditation. Every night before sleep, you do this. Step 1. Review your trades from the day. Step 2. Identify one winning trade that you celebrated. It can be internal. Could have been a mental yes. Step 3. You ask honestly, why did I celebrate? Because I executed the plan perfectly or because I got lucky? Step 4. If it was luck, you mentally void that win, like, that doesn't count, that was variance. Step 5. You repeat out loud, results don't define identity. Process defines identity. Do this for 90 days. On day 91, you won't celebrate anymore. You won't need to, because your dopamine will be tied to execution, not to results. If you still celebrate wins like they prove something, you're not professional yet. You're an amateur with temporary luck. The question is, do you want to keep being an amateur, or are you ready to stop caring and start winning? Oh, and if you made it this far, you already have the first winning attitude. You didn't skip to the end. You stayed. That's discipline. Most people don't have it.